We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this rebel outpost, the home for college football sickos, with a donation to help us keep the lights on. Hit that $sign where you make your comment and we'll get you super chat as quick as we possibly can. Everybody is welcome into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls later in the show. Shedeur Sanders is dropping. He's dropping? I don't understand. Why is he dropping? Please put it in the comments section. Please give me a phone call later in the show, where it's going to be a very short monologue. This is going to be a lazy afternoon Thursday live show before we all watch the NFL draft. We are not doing a live watch party of the NFL draft because because I could not commit the time to it. because of family obligations. Got to take care of the old mother. The little general is actually having a dinner party over right now. And you should see the food that they are eating. Holy smokes. But anyways, we've got work to do. We got to talk about college football. But we are going to talk about the NFL draft. We're going to talk about the latest CBS Sports mock draft. Now, there's a whole bunch of mock drafts out there. And the biggest story is Shedeur Sanders. He might fall. He might fall a long ways in the first round. In fact, according to some mock drafts, he's going to drop out of the entire first round. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. But I am going to provide you proof. I am going to provide you proof that there are NFL mock drafts out there that are saying exactly that. But I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Look, when it comes to quarterbacks, I have to admit, I've been taking a lot of L's lately on this show. I mean, huge, massive misses. More than one, unfortunately. Let's start with Bo Nix. I didn't think he was going to be I did not think he was going to be a decent NFL starting quarterback. I thought he was going to be an NFL quarterback, but he wasn't going to be like a starter that's going to have legs to him. Like, he might be a starter, but he ain't going to be really an NFL starting quarterback. Wrong. I mean, I went after Cam Ward last year. Remember the small hands? Remember the 9 inches from the tip of the pinky to the tip of the thumb? Now, Cam Ward has small hands. And traditionally, it does hurt the NFL quarterbacks. It hurts the draft position when you have 9-inch hands. You remember I talked about when he went in the portal and he was going to go in the NFL draft, but then he went back and forth, and he decided to go back in the portal. Miami picked him up, and I said, well, he's very talented, good quarterback, great arm, but he's going to turn over the ball because he's got small hands. Well, Cam Ward was absolutely sensational last year. I mean, if Miami had a defense, he was absolutely sensational, and he's going to go number 1 in the NFL draft. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how big an L. I mean, I took the biggest L anywhere on Cam Ward. And then Nussmeier of LSU, I wasn't convinced. And then I watched, he was sensational for LSU last year. He's going to be sensational for the Tigers this year. So, don't listen to me. Don't listen to the fat guy in Minnesota. But I'm going to give you my opinion again. Go ahead and hit the mute button. I'm going to give you a 5-second warning to hit the mute button, because I'm going to give you my opinion on Shedeur Sanders. In 5 seconds, hit the mute button so you do not listen to a horrific quarterback take once again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be an NFL starter. I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's going to be an NFL starter. Like many years. Like, I don't know, like a Rich Gannon. He's not a Rich Gannon prototype, but I'm talking about a guy who's going to play for a long time, but not a superstar. Flacco, he won a Super Bowl, really never a superstar. Flacco's a good one. I'm trying to think. Jameis Winston was a starter, but something in line of that level. Shedeur Sanders is incredibly accurate. He is, man. He's incredibly accurate thrower of the football. He doesn't have the arm strength of a Cam Ward, but he's incredibly accurate. He doesn't have the arm strength of a Jackson Dart, but he's incredibly accurate. And Shedeur Sanders is tough. He can take a hit. He's a tough kid. He's a competitive young man. There's a lot of positive about Shedeur Sanders. There is. So I would draft him. I would draft him in the first round. Behind Cam Ward, behind Jackson Dart. Ahead of Jalen Milroe. So I would... Maybe I would not pick him in the top 10. I understand the slide a little bit, and I'm going to get into that right now. I understand. I get the worry. I get the concern. Number one, supposedly he's had a horrible interview or interviews. I just saw a report that came out. What am I getting ripped on again? Am I getting ripped on? What's this? There are some in the room saying you're full of bleep. It makes me wonder why they keep coming back. I don't know who's ripping on me now. It's okay to rip on me. I'm taking the L's. I just said I took 3 L's. Expansion crush. Let me know what you're talking about. Unsportsmanlike picks. Steelers at 21. Maybe. There are videos. I'll send it to you in a DM. Videos of what? Videos of me? Videos of me? How can there be videos of me? Is this a great big scandal? Are there videos about you? Okay, send it to me. Is it about my college days? Is it about me St. Cloud University having a couple of beer secret videos of you eating a cheeseburger? I know that ain't out there. I know that's not out there. Now, is there a video of me kind of... What year was that? It was the St. Cloud State University riots back in 19... Go ahead and Google it. I want to say 89. It could have been 88. It could have been 1990. It's all kind of foggy back there. It's all kind of... Was I involved in those riots? Was I arrested? No. No, I wasn't. But was I... Did some... what do you call that? That gas? You know, where the cops... Did some of that get in my nostrils and in my hair? Possibly. But that's as far... I don't think there's any videos of me doing that either. It ain't like people had cell phones back then. It's not like people had cell phones back then. Okay, I get the worry of Shedeur's. I get the concern. Now, obviously, I wasn't in the room when they had those meetings with Shedeur Sanders. Right? And I get, Shedeur Sanders, again, the kid is tough. He hangs in there. And sometimes the sacks that he gives up, Colorado did not have a very good offensive line the 2 years that he was there. And sometimes he got sacked too much. And some of that is on him. Because one of the concerns is Shedeur Sanders doesn't consistently get rid of the ball. He does not do the checkdowns often enough. He's not an in-passing rhythm quarterback. But some of that, a lot of that, if not all of it, I think, can be developed, can be coached. The kid is tough. He's always looking downfield, always trying to make a play. He takes the hits. He keeps getting back up. I like Shedeur Sanders. I think he's a starting quarterback. Now, what's going to happen is his NFL rookie year is all going to go pear-shaped. He's going to look horrible. And I'm going to have to take another big L when it comes to quarterbacks. And you guys are all make fun of me, laugh at me once again. That's probably what's going to happen. But I want your take on Shedeur Sanders. We're going to be going through a mock NFL draft. But before we all do that, thank you for coming on in, Grateful Trojan. Thank you, Expedition Crush. I'll take a look. People ripping on me. People are ripping on me once again. Let's take a look at the update when it comes to the college football playoffs. But before that, I want to, and I already lost, I'm sorry. I think, here we go. Chad Bracey, thank you for coming on in. We're going to do a roll call real quick. Nick Kelso, AMAC, Jimmy, Mr. Duck, Florida Man, 21 The Walking Gate, Tumasta, Nick Kelso is in the house, Steel Austin, Matt Neeson, KS Beer Fan, Stormy Cyclone. I don't know, man. I don't know when the house settlement's ever going to get... They got to get it done. They got to get it done. I mean, they don't have to get it done, and then... Then that back pay is going to go from $2.8 billion to I don't know what the number is going to be. Skaven, yes, is in the house. Go Rams, fat guy from Minnesota talks NFL. Hopefully you guys talk about the NFL. Hopefully in the chat room and with phone calls. Caleb Ramirez is in the house. Antoine Johnson, go Sun Devils. Go Arizona State. Movie Time Blues. PATC from a laundromat. Beautiful place. Beautiful place to sit back, watch your clothes spin, and watch me take the L's. Movie Time Blues. Thanks for coming on in. I appreciate it. Mayor McCheese, draft night is now official. Stormy says Shedeur Sanders to number 21 Steelers. Stormy might be onto something. Or he's on something. I do not know which. Earl Taylor. Wow. Earl Taylor coming on into the house and saying Shedeur Sanders is slipping out of the first round. And he's not the only one that's saying this. Earl Taylor is not alone. He's not isolated. I can't believe this. He's a good football player. I don't understand what's going on. Earl Taylor, he says second round. I think the Browns or the Giants. Richard Brookins is in the house. Mr. BYU Cougar is in the house. Ryan Brooks is in the house. Friends call me Sean. Drafting Sanders is like drinking poison of an NFL team. Not a draft guy, but I'm a Flugar guy. Howdy, PATC. Thanks for coming on. Look. I'm not a draft expert. You all know that. I'm a college guy, and I'm not a college expert. I'm a nobody. I'm a moron, as I've called myself 1,000 times on this show. I'm not. So if you're coming on in here to looking for NFL draft expertise, you are coming to the wrong place. I started the show telling you about all the L's that I've taken with the one position, the quarterback position, in the last 2 years. And there's probably a dozen more that I can't even think about right now. So if you're coming here to listen to draft expertise, you have come to the wrong place. Turn on ESPN, Fox Sports, wherever you get your draft expertise information from. This ain't it. I'm just trying to provide a little bit of entertainment before you all go watch the serious business of the NFL draft. Thanks for coming on in, Jeff Morgan. Expansion Crush is in the house. Hi, Nathan. I appreciate you coming on in. Daniel Gygax, Mr. Mountaineer. Well, I appreciate that, Expansion Crush. I'm going to say this. I've said this before. I'm going to say this again. What we do here at College Football Peek Around the Corner is not for everybody. Someday it might not be for anybody. And then we'll go ahead and shut this down. But we're not for everybody. So if you do not like our program, if you've left our program, that's my loss. That is not your loss. Number one. Number two. And this is the most important thing. I take what we do here very seriously. But I do not take myself very seriously. There's a difference. What I present to you as College Football Peek Around the Corner, I put a lot of work into it. The track record speaks for itself. Everything I've said is on all these live shows. The tapes go way back. What we do, I take very seriously. But I don't take myself very seriously. I don't know how many times I've said that. I'm not the brightest bulb in the refrigerator. I just know where every refrigerator is in every building that I go into. So, we are not infallible. I am not infallible. I take the L's. So, I don't know. I mean, there's a group of people, and unfortunately, that group is getting larger. They are absolutely obsessed with me. And this has been going on for a decade. There are people absolutely, their whole lives are circled around me. Me, an absolute nobody. I love talking college football. And I work hard trying to give you guys the peek around the corner, an accurate peek around the corner. And people are obsessed. And that number is growing. And when you are a part of the PATC family, when you're calling, when you're putting comments in, there is so much disagreement among you all. So much disagreement with what I'm saying. And it's all cool. It is all fantastic. It's all natural. It should be happening. It is happening here. As long as we treat with each other with respect, that's all that I'm asking for. Can you imagine if we agreed with each other, how boring all this would be? Do you know how much incredible movement is out there right now in the college football landscape? Nobody, I said this, nobody has a crystal ball. I don't. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't know. I mean, we try to give you the most accurate peek around the corner. Now, some people out there are very they're scarred. They are scarred for life because we have been incredibly accurate. There's no question about it. And that is due to the fact that the correct people are giving us the correct information at the correct time. Through all of that, we have made our mistakes. And I try to point them out as quick as I can in every program. And a lot of people out there are hurt by that because we can be so open with our L's and we are so consistent with giving you an accurate peek around the corner, it makes their heads explode. Those who come after me on a daily, they do it every single day. They cannot wake up in the morning and go to bed at night without taking a personal shot at me. They can't do it. They're unable to do it. And the number one reason I believe that they cannot do it is because they take themselves way too seriously. This has become them. This is why on X, I talk about a lot of different stuff. I don't talk just about college football. I talk about, I talk about a lot of things. And that upsets people. Oh, you should see that. Oh my gosh. People are so upset with me. I went after Vladimir Putin and people got so upset. I mean, people get upset with me about everything. So that is why I have said, disagree with me, cool. But try to control my content, that ain't going to happen. We take what we do very seriously. I do not say something lightly. When we give you the peek around the corner, I do not do it lightly. But I don't take myself seriously. When the Los Angeles Times did an article on us, the article was called "I'm a Nobody." I made sure that was in the title because I was embarrassed by all the publicity. I wanted to make sure everybody knew that I am a nobody. It's exactly how it is today. So some of you got to get out there and touch some grass, really. Really. Think about something other than the fat guy from Minnesota. Think about your wives. Think about your girlfriends. Think about your team. Okay. Greg lip syncs. I don't lip sync. Come on. I don't lip sync. Every time I sing off key, that is my voice. That is my voice. What did Shedeur do? I guess he's had some bad interviews. I don't know. He's got to be drafted tonight. He's got to be drafted in the first round. Although, I'm going to give you proof here in a little bit that there are people thinking he's not going to get drafted in the first round. It blows my mind. Tom DeBay is thanking Expedition Greg. Dr. L. Smith is in the house, the architect. Quinn ears should concern you. Interesting. Interesting. Quinn ears, he is an interesting prospect in the NFL. Thank you, Paul Bond. I appreciate coming on in. Jay Graysmith is in the house. Nittany 89. I can't see the Steelers draft in Sanders. Chef Maul is here. No SEC expansion without North Carolina. Stephen Vitt is in the house. I enjoy listening to your mea culpa on cam. I'm not happy about it. I'm glad you are enjoying it, Rock and Rant. But hey. You better be careful, Rock and Rant. Mr. Miami Hurricane. You better be careful because I was so wrong on Cam Ward. But I like Carson Beck more than anybody else does. So if I'm Greg the Cooler again this year, like I was last year, this time it ain't going to be to the benefit of the Miami Hurricanes, Rock and Rant. This time it ain't going to be the benefit to the Miami Hurricanes. Fortunately for Rock and Rant, fortunately for the Miami Hurricanes, 2025 is no longer the year of Greg the Cooler. It's Greg the Gold. It's all gold in 2025. No L's. No L's whatsoever. .65% winning percentage against the spread. That's happening in 25. Predicting all the correct conference champions. That's happening in 25. My college football playoff predictions, 100% correct. That's happening in 25. Coy Pirich, Minnesota Golden Gopher, safety, going to New York City for the Heisman ceremony? Nah, that's not happening. That's not happening. Okay, let's get to it. We got a lot to get to here. We got Flint Dog is in the house. Appreciate it. Don Scruggs is in the house. MBM, yeah, well, agree to disagree. Greg the Gold. Okay. I just got off my Greg the Gold, and the Cowboy comes at me with Greg the Cold. Thank you for the super chat, MBM. I appreciate it, Mr. Cowboy. Thank you for your generosity. You've been doing this a long time, helping us out. Thank you so very much. So very much. Morris Simmons is in the house. Thank you, MBM. Big Gun Shop. Sergeant Pickles. Ooh, Seahawks need a quarterback. Seahawks need a quarterback. Sergeant Pickles. Is it going to be Jalen Monroe? Is it going to be? Could it be? Outlaw Skis. Outlaw Skis, thanks for coming on in. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so very much. A new member of Early Peak Cloak and Dagger. You are hereby knighted officially. Cloak and Dagger. By the way, we did release episode 56 for members only. We're going to go through that right now, what we talked about. We're going to go through it again here on the live show. When you are a member of our program, you get the Early Peak Cloak and Dagger and a little bit of nugget that we put out. And then later on, we talk about it in the live show. So thank you so much, Outlaw Skis. I appreciate it. Morris Simmons, I'm hearing rumblings of a second round. That's hard. I can't believe it. Again, I have shown that I'm a moron when it comes to quarterbacks evaluations. So I'm trying to temper myself. But I don't understand it. Tumasta, Greg the Goldmine. Just bet against whatever Greg is saying. That is Greg the Goldmine. Let's see here. A Catholic fan is in the house. Lonnie is here. I'm the doctor. Outlaw Skis is the doctor. Okay. Minnesota named the professional women's hockey team after Greg's sportsbook predictions. Coolers. Morris thinks he's going to go tonight. Just don't pick West Virginia Daniel Gygax. Okay, let's get to it. I appreciate everybody coming on in. Again, we're going to try to get off the air so you can all enjoy your NFL draft. Let's talk about the NFL draft. But first, there is some Brendan Sullivan to Tulane. Former quarterback. He did a little bit of quarterbacking at Northwestern. Went to Iowa. Now he's with the Tulane Green Wave. And again, Sullivan is a pretty good quarterback. I mean, he's a tough kid. He's a competitor. And if you look at his stats, he always plays better than... I still don't understand why he left Northwestern. Because the year that he left Northwestern, he was going to be the QB1. I don't quite understand that. There's got to be a story behind that. But a pretty good pickup by Tulane, in my opinion. A pretty good pickup by Tulane. Now, let's talk about the playoffs. Let's talk about the playoffs here. We've got an update. Expedition Greg. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. This ain't working. There it is. What a transfer portal addition for the Buckeyes, Atkinson. Yeah, Atkinson. He's going to make an immediate impact. Big defense rusher, Bo. I think it was a shocker. He went in the portal late for UNC. It was a shocker. He got picked up pretty quick by the Buckeyes. Another big addition for the Buckeyes. Thank you for the super chat, Expedition Greg. Appreciate it so very much. All your generosity to this program. That was a big pickup. I think it was official yesterday, if I got that correct, or earlier today. Either way, it wasn't too long ago. Yeah, it was last night. Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any action towards the settlement? Okay. Let's get to the playoffs. We'll talk about the settlement in a little bit here. Today we've got a Ross Dellinger, college football playoff director Rich Clark, says commissioners did explore new ideas for future formats. CFP commissioners are breaking from their meetings. Brett Yormark says there were no decisions made as expected. Format and governance talk continued. Rich Clark said there was no decision on moving to straight seeding for the 25 playoff. The discussion continued on this year's format as well as 2026 and beyond. So, really not a whole lot of news, right? Not a whole lot of news there. This came from David Rumsey of Front Office Sports. We're going to just read this in a second here. CFP meetings end with no major changes to 12-team playoff for now. The college football playoff is exploring potential format changes for next season as well as 2026 and beyond. However, nothing has been agreed to yet. The college football playoff's annual spring meetings concluded today without any major decisions. And again, that is why we have our screen title for this live show is "The Can Gets Basically Kicked Again" on the college football playoffs. The CFP Management Committee, made up of FBS conference commissioners and Notre Dame athletic director Pete Bavacqua, met in Dallas Tuesday afternoon through Thursday morning to discuss standard logistical and financial operations for the upcoming season, as well as ideas about how the playoff could further evolve. However, no big changes were agreed to this week. CFP Executive Director Rich Clark told reporters in Dallas on Thursday afternoon. One idea that has seemingly had momentum this offseason is shifting to straight seeding, as opposed to the inaugural bracket, which gave the top 4 seeds that come with first-round byes to the highest-ranked conference champions. This past season, number 9, Boise State received the 3rd seed. Number 12, Arizona State got the 4th seed. That change and others could still be made ahead of the 2025 season, as the CFP leaders are set to meet again in June. So the seeding we still could go to a straight seeding change before the 25 playoffs. If that's going to happen, it's got to happen pretty quick, right? Or heading into the summer. Ahead of this week's meeting, a source told Front Office Sports that they expected things to remain status quo this year, which obviously is the chalk, right? Before big changes come in 2026. Since the CFP format for that season and beyond has not yet been set, we've got nothing agreed upon for 2026. The other potential format changes in future years include more automatic qualifiers for the Big Ten and the SEC, expanding to 14 or 16 teams, and more on-campus home games. Okay, so that basically gets everybody, okay, that's where we are, right? The ball hasn't gone forward. It looks like there's going to be no changes for 25. Possibly still the straight seeding. But we don't know. 26, we know nothing. I have talked in great length, starting on September 9th of 2024, where I reported on a live show that the Big Ten was hammering away that they wanted 4 automatic qualifiers in the playoffs. And there's reasons why we came on that live show. We got information. We knew that the media partners wanted this. The Big Ten wanted an expanded playoffs, 4 automatic qualifiers. And I came out right away and I said, I don't like it as a fan, but I got to give you guys the peek around the corner. A couple weeks later, reports came out. Petiti is hammering hard for 4 automatic qualifiers. A couple months ago, we reported here at Peek Around the Corner that we believe it was a fait accompli. That the 4 automatic qualifiers, that the Big Ten, this is the one thing that they were not going to give up because they had plans. They have plans with the 3 play-in games. They've got plans. That's how they're going to make their money. They want to stretch it out. It helps their media partners because the conference games are going to have so much more meaning, and we've been through all this before, right? Well, obviously that hasn't happened yet. Obviously the negotiations are still going on, right? We don't know what the 2026 playoffs are going to look like. And I said it then, and I'm going to say it now. If the Big Ten don't get their 4 automatic qualifiers, I'll take the Big L. No problem. Easy peasy. There are reasons why we said it. There was reasons why we think it was a fait accompli. But if we're wrong, we'll take the L. But this was the utmost importance to the Big Ten. Negotiations are going on. How this is going to look like, we shall see. Now, there are reports that even came out today that there are new ideas, right? That there are new ideas being presented. What are those new ideas? Again, Ross Dellinger, College football playoff director Rich Clark says commissioners did explore new ideas for future formats. Earlier today, we did an early peek cloak and dagger episode, and we're going to go through that real quick for everybody to watch, for everybody to take in this information. Awful announcing. TV ratings could be a criteria for automatic college football playoff bids per report. Now, that report goes all the way back 3 or 4 days ago on April 21st. I haven't talked anything about this. I've been waiting on this, and now we talked about it in an early peek cloak and dagger episode earlier today. TV ratings could be part of the criteria for determining automatic college football playoff bids. That is absolutely ridiculous. But I do think there are certain people who are trying to socialize this, and it's strategic. It's not exactly a secret that the NCAA is looking to tweak the college football playoff format. Everyone loved the 12-team playoff. Even ESPN's coverage of the inaugural event didn't leave them feeling warm and fuzzy on the inside. It didn't exactly take an oracle to know that the seeding and the current process for automatic bids would upset a few folks. As the eventual national champions, the Buckeyes were a number 9 seed. Something had to give, but conference commissioners have been at this since the second round of the first ever 12-team CFP. Action Network, Brett McMurphy reported at the time the conference commissioners would have in-depth discussions regarding the structure of the 12-team format, particularly when it comes to the seeding. Now, in our early peek cloak and dagger episode 56 for members only, we go through the whole article. We're not going to do this on the live show. We want to get to your phone calls as quick as possible to let us know what you think is going to happen in the first round of the NFL draft tonight, what you want to see happen in the first round of the NFL draft tonight. So I want to skip to this part. Heather Dinich reporting on ESPN. One possibility, which could be viewed as a compromise, is having conferences earn automatic bids through their play each season. A model in which each Power 4 league can earn guaranteed spots through a combination of its team's overall records and maybe even TV ratings, according to a source, could be presented. The highest ranked conferences would earn the most automatic bids. So again, they're looking at these automatic bids. They're looking to expand the automatic bids. We know that the Big Ten wants 4 automatic bids. But you know, in this governance, in this power that SEC and the Big Ten have, and they do have governing power over the format of the college football playoffs, if they both agree to it, they can push it on through. The Big Ten and the SEC, they have to receive input, considerations from the G5, the Big 12, the ACC, and Notre Dame. But eventually they have the hammer, and they can make the final decision. Obviously, there's a great pushback on the 4 automatic qualifiers for the Big 10 and the SEC, and the Big 12 having 2 and the ACC having 2. There is big pushback on that. Brett Yormark has said it in public. Phillips has said it in public. Right? Big pushback. Now, a model in which each Power 4 league can earn guaranteed spots through a combination of teams' overall records and maybe even TV ratings according to a source. Maybe even TV ratings according to a source. Who do you think brought up the TV ratings as part of the criteria on how to earn automatic bids per conference? Who do you think brought that up? Big Ten, SEC. Obviously. They look, when the Big Ten and the SEC pushed the playoff distribution model, money revenue distribution model for 2026 and beyond, the SEC and the Big Ten used a couple of different criterias. One, they used what teams were in the past playoffs, what conferences had the most teams in the playoffs, what conferences had the most championships in the playoffs. And in the background, the Big Ten and the SEC pushed the idea that their schools, their conference should get more playoff money than the others because they bring the most eyeballs to the college football playoffs. So we should get the most revenue. That was their argument. So they're doing the good cop, bad cop thing again. The bad cop is Petiti. We want 4 automatic qualifiers. We want 4. We want 4. We want 4. And then the good cop is, okay, it ain't going to be automatic. The automatic ain't going to be automatic. It ain't going to be an automatic 4 auto bids for the Big Ten every single year, for the SEC every single year. But instead, we're going to use this spreadsheet. We're going to use this metric, right? It's going to be some records of our teams and yada, 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 and yada. Oh, and by the way, we'll throw in TV ratings. All that is a soft... All that is bring about the same results. In other words, they're trying to stuff the ballot box. They're getting what they need anyways. If that's part of the criteria, they're going to have the biggest ratings. Of course they are. They got they got the largest exposure. And they got the biggest brands and all that stuff. But it's all it's just another way of getting the results that they want. Right? I mean, that's what this is all... It's all about trying to sell... How do we sell the idea of getting a particular result? That's what this is all about. Again, I'm going to be perfectly clear on this. We have been told, and we've been told this forever. The Big Ten and the SEC accumulated this power. They were Machiavellian. They got the distribution model in their advantage, even over Notre Dame. Remember, starting in 2026, Notre Dame is going to make less in the playoffs than Rutgers. Not last year, not this year, but beginning in 2026. The SEC and the Big Ten push for governance control, college football playoff format control, distribution model in their advantage. And to think they're not going to use it, they're going to use it. Now it's about the messaging. Now it's about the input taken. Now it's about taking on everybody's considerations. And there is probably some horse trading going on. Right? The SEC and the Big Ten are willing to horse trade with Yormark and Phillips. For the Big Ten to take 3 automatic qualifiers, which could happen, they're going to get something big out of something, something else out of the deal. Right? I don't know what that would be. The SEC, here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. We know at Peek Around the Corner, and others people know, that the media partners want these automatic qualifiers, and they want it replicated year after year after year after year. So to use a criteria that could change the automatic qualifiers from year to year to year doesn't seem like that is something that they're going to settle on. We shall see. But again, the college football playoffs for 2026 and beyond is the great unknown. The 2026 gold rush, we know how the money's being distributed, but we don't know the format. We happen to believe at Peek Around the Corner that you're going to see the number 16 being thrown around quite a bit. You saw it in the Front Office Sports article of today that just came out a little bit ago. Sources telling them 14, 16, that's being talked about. We also heard a little bit of this, it's kind of a crazy thing, but the Big Ten is also pushing another, how do I say this? One of the problems is in 2026, the 6 big bowl games that are used, those locations that are used for the quarterfinals and the semifinals, there hasn't been really a deal struck between those bowls and the college football playoff managers. So we don't even know for sure if the New Year's 6 bowl games are going to be used in the playoffs. They probably are. Most likely they are. But I bring this up because some people in the Big Ten want to throw a hand grenade into the party. And that hand grenade is they want to, some Big Ten schools want to have a Midwest quarterfinal game, a Midwest location. Because right now you've got the Fiesta Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Pasadena Rose Bowl. I'm missing a couple, but none of them are in the Midwest. So there are a few Big Ten schools that are like, maybe we should get really radical here. Maybe we should get really radical. And then it seems like everybody wants more first round campus games. So if you're going to go to 14 teams, right, you're going to have 6 games at campus, on campus, 6 first round games instead of 4. If you go to 16 team playoffs, you're going to have the 8 first round games on campus. And then you go to your quarterfinal. So there's the discussions will continue. At the end of the day, a whole lot of people are not going to be happy. I, for one, as a college football fans, despise the automatic qualifiers beyond the conference champions. I loved how it was done this past year. I would not change a thing. But it's going to change. It is. It's just reality. It's just reality. Anyways, let's get to your phone calls. I want to get to them right away. Talk about college football, your heart desire. You know what? Before we do that, I'm sorry. We got to go through the draft real quick, because that's what I want you guys to talk about in the phone calls other than college football. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is unbelievable. CBS Sports. This just was released. Their mock draft. Cam Ward, number 1. No question about it. Travis Hunter, Cleveland. Cleveland passes on a quarterback. Travis Hunter, Cleveland, number 2. Supposedly Cleveland's getting all these type of phone calls. But they're gonna take the phenom, Travis Hunter. Number 3, Abdul Carter, New York Giants. The Giants going to take a quarterback here? It doesn't sound like it. No longer are the Giants taking a quarterback here. Anthony Carter. Number 4, Will Campbell. The Patriots, I guess they had the most sacks allowed. They're going to protect Drake May's blindside. Will Campbell, LSU Tigers. Ashton Genty getting picked by Jacksonville ahead of the Raiders. Everybody knows that the Raiders want Ashton Genty. Oh, those are the reports. This is the latest CBS Sports mock draft. Number 6, if Genty is off the board, the Raiders get Calvin Banks, the big old T from the Longhorns. Number 7, Mambu, a beast. He was incredible. Armand Mambu was incredible on the combines. Had a great season for Missouri. The Jets, this would be a great pick for the Jets. Jalen Walker, Georgia. The number 1 ranked linebacker in the draft. Number 9, Micaiah Williams, edge rusher. Again, the edge rushers are going early. Not just according to CBS Sports mock drafts, but the other mock drafts out there. NFL.com, the Walter Payton, whatever, all these other mock drafts. The edge rushers seems like the strongest position in the draft. They're all going early. But is this the spot for Shedeur Sanders? The 9th pick in the NFL draft. Wouldn't this be the spot for Shedeur Sanders? Remember, in this mock draft, we have not seen the name Shedeur Sanders pop up yet. Number 10, Colston Loveland. I think he's overrated. In fact, he's definitely overrated. He's a good tight end. Michigan Wolverine fans, you're gonna get upset with me. He's good, but he's no Tyler Warren. He's not even close to Tyler Warren. The Bears taking Loveland with number 10. Wow. Walter Nolan, now he has been a late riser. He is going up the draft boards in the mock drafts. He's a little bit of a tweener. A little bit of a tweener. Not a rush in. He does more than a defense, like a nose guard. He ain't quite that either. Walter Nolan was a beast at Ole Miss. McMillan, number 12, the Cowboys. They need something with C.D. Lamb. They need somebody. Mason Graham. And now I love Mason Graham. I may not be in love with Loveland. He's good, but I'm in love with Mason Graham, the other big-time Wolverine, along with their big cornerback, which we're going to be talking about in a moment. Mason Graham, round one, pick 13 for the Miami Dolphins. I don't know how Mason Graham drops out of the top 10, but he could. There's Tyler Warren, NFL mock draft, CBS Sports, that just came out before we did this live show. Tyler Warren, Number 14, Indianapolis should celebrate all night long if they get Tyler Warren. James Pierce, number 15. Jihad Campbell, a freak of an athlete. Linebacker, Alabama to Arizona. Derek Harmon, the Bengals. Number 18, Nick Imanowari, the safety from the South Carolina Gamecocks, the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's not going to take a quarterback here, right? Are they? Nope. No Jalen Milroe, no Shedeur Sanders. By the way, we haven't mentioned either of those names yet. Number 19, Maxwell Harrison, cornerback, Kentucky. Number 20, Emeka Ibuka, wide receiver, Buckeyes. Going to the Broncos. Kenneth Grant, the other great defensive lineman for the Michigan Wolverines, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. CBS does not have Shedeur Sanders going here, does not have Jackson Dart going here, does not have Jalen Milroe going here at all. The Steelers pass up on those quarterbacks. Number 22, the great pass rusher, Mike Green, Marshall, going to the LA Chargers. Number 23, the evil Green Bay Packers, Matthew Golden, Texas Longhorns. Number 24, everybody has Malachi Starks going to Vikings. It would be a shocker if he did not go to the Minnesota Vikings. They need to replace Harrison Smith after this season. Donovan Jackson, interior O-line, the Buckeyes, national champions, going to Houston. Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU, going to the LA Rams, the 26th pick. Shamar Stewart, going to the Baltimore Ravens, edge rusher. 5th one taken in the draft. Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman. North Dakota State Bison, going to the Detroit Lions. Number 29, Jedi Barron, great athlete. Texas, going to the Washington Commanders. Will Johnson, the big cornerback of Michigan, going to the Buffalo Bills. Number 31, Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Buckeyes. And number 32, Josh Conley, the offensive tackle of Oregon. No Shedeur Sanders. No Jackson Dart. No Jalen Milroe. None of them in the latest CBS mock draft. That is not the only mock draft that has Shedeur Sanders dropping out of the first round. It's not the only one out there, guys. Something about an interview, something about these. I still believe that either the Saints, the Seahawks, or the Steelers, SSS, Shedeur Sanders, Saints, Seahawks, Steelers, one of those three are going to take Shedeur Sanders. And maybe it's not at their current draft position. Maybe they go back. But it's got to happen in the first round. And Jackson Dart has to happen in the first round. I got Jackson Dart. He's got to go first round. Anyways, I'm going to open up the phone lines. Let me know what you're thinking in the NFL draft. Again, we're not going to go as long as usual. I want to get you guys out of here so you can enjoy all the NFL draft talk. 763-260-1333. 763 260-1333.
From
Lewis.
Lewis is in the house. Thanks for calling, my friend. Appreciate it. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Greg. I'll have 2 points and then I'll hang up. The first is I listened with great interest to your discussion. I remember that article distinctly, the 2022 interview that was done by Schwalbeck. So it was in my consciousness. But one counter I have to it, though, is I'm trying to reconcile that with Notre Dame's fierce efforts in the fall of 2023 to get that last vote to add Stanford, California, and SMU.
Yeah.
Because they had to know, everybody knew, even with all those efforts, those are the three, Carolina, Florida State, and Clemson, were leaving. And eventually, and so if why invest so much effort into saving the conference if they didn't think it might be a practical home? Now, it may not be. You're right. There's no question they have to keep in place their financials. But I still think that it could work out. And as far as the travel, if they stay in the ACC or however they work out, I don't think that's a problem. Now, clearly, the Big Ten is much more advantageous to their non-revenue sports, but that won't drive the decision. It will be the TV revenue. And yes, if they lose tens of millions of dollars a year, they might go, but I still think for the reason I said a couple of days ago, they can. And I just wanted to add to that they put a lot of effort into trying to expand the conference so that if they got hit with losses, the conference could survive. And they were at the forefront of it. And why would they need to be in the forefront of it if they were at least subconsciously having one foot out the door? So that's one point. And the second point, I don't know with the TV ratings how that works because there are games on streaming, even games involving Ohio State and some of the other top teams. And you're not going to get a rating on streaming. And so how do you account for, it's not fair because there's a lot of people who will just never bother with it. I mean, if you notice a NASCAR point, the Xfinity Series has had every race over 1 million viewers this year for the first time in history because it's on the CW. It's on over-the-air network television and drawing ratings. Even though the CW is considered a joke, you can find it over the air, and there still are a segment. There's still 35% of people with TVs only get over the air. It sounds hard to believe, but those folks are out there, and they matter. And so there's that the streaming and even cable really hurts that. But I just wonder at some point, they've already got the financial advantage with the money. And there's a metric for that. It's based in the past. But the more they throw in automatic bids, the more they throw in structural barriers to make it impossible for conferences other than the SEC and the Big Ten to have a fair shot, increase their worth to the CFP, the more I think you invite a lawsuit. And as we've seen, people are concerned about lawsuits. You don't want to have a lawsuit among all the conferences over the CFP, and that might be the check that implicitly keeps this from getting out of hand. I think TV ratings sounds like a good idea, but there are just far too many variables to make it work. You have to look at performance, what teams do here, and you should rate on how they look. I mean, the Big 12 had a team go into overtime in the quarterfinals. The ACC had two teams that primarily were dominated in their games. It looked like, especially in SMU's case, they even belonged on the field the first weekend. Clemson was a little bit better. I think you have to look at those metrics to determine the strength of a conference and come up with a fair allocation. And they might get the automatic bids, or maybe the Big 12 feels placated with two bids, which is maybe more than the one they may get otherwise. So a deal might work out, but it has to be a deal. The more things are rammed down, that's why you don't have a deal now. They don't want to run it down anybody's throat because litigation is real, political involvement is real, and there should be an ability to get to a resolution without having to completely run over everybody else. But we'll see. That might very well happen. I just don't know that it will in this environment because universities right now are primarily concerned about the loss of federal funds more than they are even about sports. So those are my 2 points, and I look forward to listening to the rest of your show.
Beautiful. Beautiful call, Lewis. Tremendous call. Excellent. Yeah, me being against these automatic qualifiers based upon conference.
Call from
Rock and Rant.
Rock and Rant, can you just hold on for a moment, please?
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Got to get caught up here. I just want to reply to Lewis. I'm against it, and if people want to sue on if this gets pushed in and people want to sue, go ahead. But but on the other side, the other schools did sign off on this. Now they were coerced and pushed, and maybe that can be part of the suit. But I mean, there is a signatures that say there's voting, there's governing. The things have been agreed upon, for bad or for worse. But that doesn't mean that a suit can't be filed and won't work and whatever. But there was agreed upon. The Stanford SMU California editions, Notre Dame. I first of all, I don't believe anybody at the time thought we were going to get a resolution on this court cases in 2025. I mean, I know Florida State, a lot of Florida State fans say we're going to win this thing in a week. So there are people out there who expected this, but this is a pretty quick, sudden victory. I call it a victory for those schools that think they're going to be able to get out of the ACC into the P2. I think this is a pretty incredible victory. And I don't think Notre Dame was expecting that. But again, Notre Dame knew if they could get this pushed, if they could get those 3 additional schools in, that more revenue would be going to the ACC schools, because California and Stanford were going to they weren't going to take the whole pro rata money coming from ESPN down to the ACC, and ACC was not going to distribute 100% to California or Stanford, and SMU wasn't going to take any of that Tier 1 money. So Notre Dame believed was going to be helped to stabilize the ACC just a little bit longer, just buying time a little bit longer. I also believe the addition of Stanford and SMU and California, as crazy as it sounds, was also a defense against the dissolution theory, which I always thought was crazy. But boy, late in 24 and early in 25, I had to start talking about it again, because the North Carolina Money Perch was saying we are rattling all the cages here at North Carolina. And that was after the additions of those 3 schools. And before those additions of those 3 schools, North Carolina, Bubba Cunningham, and at the time, Kevin Gusowich, the chancellor at UNC Chapel Hill, they talked about the possibility of changing up the makeup of the ACC and then contracting the conference. That is the dissolution theory. They talked about that on the night that USC and UCLA left the conference. So I think Notre Dame has always been wary of this quick destruction of the ACC, and they figured getting 3 more votes in the conference. They were not expecting this victory in the courts to be this quick, if there was going to be a victory at all. So I think all that played a part in bringing on Stanford, California, and SMU. But yeah, Lewis, another great call. Rock and Rant, the floor is yours. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. So much going on. It's crazy. Wow.
I'm sorry. One more thing, Rock and Rant. I apologize. Sure. Big Gun Shop. Judge said 2 weeks to set roster limits or settlement gets thrown out. Get a humidifier for the cough. I've gotten one. I use it, not every night. My cough is getting better, but yeah, it's been so dry here in Minnesota. We're starting to get some humidity a little bit. Not today. I mean, everyone is coughing around here. Like everybody. My wife works at the hospital. Everybody's coughing. It's horrible. It's just horrible here in Minnesota. But I am getting better. I swear to you, I am getting better. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't even say 3 sentences on this show without coughing. I'm getting better. Rock and Rant, go ahead. I appreciate the super chat, Big Gun Shop. You are correct. Judge said 2 weeks. Roster limits, settlement gets thrown out. We're going to $2.8 billion to 12, 15, $20 billion fine unless the commissioners can get their heads on straight. Rock and Rant, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and just on that point, a reminder that the judge can't, he can either approve or disapprove a contract that's done. They have to come back and settle that. She can't be like, I approve it, but I'm throwing this part out.
Yeah.
Generally a good idea. When a federal judge asks you to do something, in case you want to do, you don't come back and say, like, basically kick rocks. It's usually not the smartest strategy, and that's what they sort of did. So now they got to figure it out. And then on that, you were talking about the dissolution theory. Remember, the other part, too, about getting those 3 schools is even not so much the dissolution theory, although that's another thing, was they had to keep the same amount of schools, period, for the baseline of the ESPN contract. So it covered them either for dissolving the conference, but if they lost enough people, I think there was like a threshold of the number of organizations that if they at least only lost 3, they already had 3 backfills, regardless of whether the dissolution actually happened.
Yeah.
But we shall see. In terms of Shedeur, I think you're right. I think he'll be a first round pick. It just seems to me that everyone's just trying to downplay him, period, right? Because the more that people think he's falling, the easier it is if you're in the back half of the first round or the early part of the second round to jump up, right? Like, now, whether everybody buys it or not, but I think that there's probably some degree of everybody trying to spread negative stories to help decrease the competition for those who might want to come back in if he gets past 9, if he gets past the Seahawks, to jump ahead of the Steelers, to get in, before whoever. So hopefully that happens. It would be, a shame if he has to go through all that crap and just have that around him, even though that will add motivation. So I agree with you. I think we always think that only, there's going to be less quarterbacks than expected, and there's always more than expected. Or there's more, everybody thinks there's going to be a lot, but then Michael Penix goes in the top 10, who nobody expected that to happen to Atlanta. So just, in terms of the draft there, I think it could be interesting. It hasn't been really, I'm doing a watch party tonight. I just did the whole kicker, and there's not one trade really, or at least everybody's got a pick. There's no duplicate, so it's weird going into the
interesting
the event. Like, I don't think that there's maybe people swap positions, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like everyone is only on the board once in the first round heading into it. I don't know that I can recall seeing it. It's not like something I've committed to memory, but it definitely makes me think that those who are saying that the first round could get a little bit wild after the first, even after the first pick, with either the Browns or Giants being willing to trade down to accumulate picks in case somebody wants to come up and get Travis or Abdul or whoever they might want to go. So it might be a more fun draft, even if it's not necessarily hey, there's these many quarterbacks or, what might happen ultimately. So I don't know if you've gotten to see any of those reports, as it were.
I've been reading as much as I can. I read where the Raiders are going to try to get in front of the Jacksonville Jaguars. To try to make sure they get Ashton Genty. I read that. And there has been drafts where I thought it was going to get crazy, but then it never really happened. So I'm kind of
like the spring portal this time didn't get as crazy as I think a lot of us thought it would.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. That is interesting. The portal wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we still have one more day, right?
Yep.
In theory, there's still people going in. They have to tomorrow to submit their letter, which means we might not hear about them until Sunday or Monday, depending upon how fast their school does or does not get their paperwork actually in. But so we still have some time for people who've been negotiating deals on the back end. But so far it hasn't lived up to what I thought was going to happen, which was a bunch of people trying to get their deals in ahead of the settlement coming through.
Yeah.
But I will take a little bit of a victory lap on thinking that it wasn't going to go through clean. Not that I'm the only one, but I'm one of those who was on that side of the equation. And as predicted, the college football world and NCAA can always manage to make things harder than it already is for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this before you came out, because I only saw it as I was waiting for you to come, but I guess there was a report about Kentucky talking about potentially spinning off the athletic department as an LLC, which I know people have brought up before. I don't think you've mentioned those conversations, but that's the first time I've seen a school tied to it. I was wondering if you saw that and what your take is on that exploration.
They are now that's not official yet. They're presenting that to the university as a whole, right? It's not.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just a report that they're exploring it, which is just the first one I've personally seen. You may have seen others that have said that.
Yeah, I mean, if it helps, again, it all goes back to these athletic departments wanting more flexibility, right, to make deals, to make probably private capital or private equity deal, private capital deals. It could be a whole number of things. I do not see any time in the near future. I don't think we're getting a detachment of the Kentucky Wildcats football team from the university. I mean, but an LLC where they can run it a little bit differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think if one school does it, it's interesting. If 5 schools does it, it becomes more interesting. If 15 schools does it, then probably everyone's going to do it. Something like that. So we'll see. Interesting story.
Yeah. And then, in terms of your haters, man, just remember, all those haters, their watch time gets ad revenue too, man. So don't think twice about it. Polarizing brands make more money. Just look at the top of college football brand values.
Yeah.
It's not the safest, happy one. So better to be loved and hated than for everybody to just not care one way or the other.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, and we're missing the most the biggest college football spring portal news in 2025. The biggest news, guys.
Besides
Rock and Ram. Huh?
Besides Nico, is there a surprise coming?
Yeah, no. Wow, this is bigger than Nico. This is much bigger than Nico. The Minnesota Golden Gophers have grabbed themselves on 2 consecutive days out of the portal a punter. We got ourselves a punter out of the portal yesterday, and we got ourselves a punter out of the portal today. Now, nobody has done that before. Nobody has done that before. Absolutely brilliance.
Maybe one of them's excellent kicking north, and the other one's excellent kicking south. And you have 105. I assume that up to the 105-man roster, so you can afford to add your special teams in that way. Other than that, I mean, last year it looked like you needed a field goal kicker more from a couple of those games that I watched where you looked like Minnesota could have won with a little bit more.
And that field goal kicker the year before was first team All Big Ten. So
yeah, I just remember the game earlier.
I know, North Carolina. He missed 2 short field goals.
North Carolina game specifically. And I'm not wishing any hate on your Gophers because from all reports, the training that your guy did to elevate your former defensive coordinator, who's now Miami, is looking very good on paper and early results as a serial killer look that he has.
Yes.
So, I wish nothing but good to you, just like I did to Washington State last year for whatever they did to help with Cam Ward. So, we shall see. But if you wind up having a few extra minutes tonight and you're free, I know you have some family stuff, but I'll send you a link. Feel free
I appreciate it.
For 5 minutes.
Appreciate it, my man.
All right, be good, guys.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful call. Rocket Rant. Beautiful call. Excellent. I forget what the first punter, where he came from, a small school. And the second punter the Gophers got today was the starting punter of UCLA of last year. So, I don't know. You know what? And what really confuses me about the Gophers taking 2 punters on 2 consecutive days in the portal, today and yesterday, is we're not going to need a punter for 2025. We're not going to need a punter. Golden Gophers, we're not going to need a punter. Oh, yeah, once in a while we'll get stuck at our 30-yard line and it's 4th and 2. But we're not going to need a punter. We're not going to need a punter against anybody. We're not going to need a punter against the Buckeyes in the shoe on October 4th. What do you think of them apples? The Amazing Blue agrees with me. The Michigan Wolverine. He knows the Gophers ain't going to need a punter against the Buckeyes in 25. Amazing Blue gifted 5 memberships to our family members. Thank you so much, Amazing Blue. Thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate it so much. Greg Gantz, Dida 51, Scott Steele, ALC, Dallas Marquez. Nice to see Dallas's name in the chat room. All of you have been gifted a membership by the generosity of Amazing Blue. Please say thank you to the Michigan Wolverine when you get an opportunity. All of you are knighted. Once again. Cloak and dagger. Thank you, Amazing Blue. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And another Michigan Wolverine. Where does Michigan Grant go? Which pick? Okay, so the CBS Sports, now again, I don't, they've got Mason Graham at number 13. I know that's not what you're asking, Helmer, but I want to start there. Mason should be a top 10 pick. I don't know, there's this thing out there that maybe he doesn't get enough penetration on passing downs. All I saw was Mason Graham dominate. The Gophers O-line 2 years ago, was it? I don't know. That was 2 years ago. When the goal was it last year? That game that the Gopher, was it last year when last year when we almost got the onside, we should have gotten the onside kick. Mason Graham dominated the Gophers and everybody else. So I can't believe he's not a top 10 pick. Grant comes a little bit later. Was he 18? There he is, number 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, according to CBS Sports. Again, another great football player. But, again, I say something positive about the Michigan Wolverines, but then I have to throw in something negative. Look at Colston Loveland, pick number 10. Now, let's be honest. Michigan Wolverine fans, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. I know you're Michigan. I know you are mighty Michigan. But do you really think that Loveland is going to be drafted before Tyler Warren? In this CBS mock draft, Tyler Warren is 14, Loveland is 10. I'm having a hard time with that one. But let me know how wrong I got it. Rowan Phillips, hey, having a good punter is important. Incredible depth. The Gophers have a punter. Our punter for the last 3 years, Crawford, the Australian punter, who was in his late 20s, by the way, when he committed to Minnesota about 3-4 years ago, he's been at the bottom of the Big Ten. It's not been good. Not been good. Not been good. So, all right, let's bring in a whole bunch of punters. Let's see if we can find one. Let's see if we can find one. The draft is in cheese country. It's taking place in Wisconsin. The NIL is limitless in Minnesota. Punting is winning. Gophers acquired a portal gold. You the man, Amazing Blue. Yes, he is. Amazing Blue is the man. Absolutely. Okay, so we've been on the air for an hour and 35 minutes. That's about 20 minutes longer than we were planning on going. We're going to get off the air now. I know you all are looking forward to the NFL Draft. Again, we'll pick it up tomorrow. College football, April 25th, live show. I think we might have a banger. I think we're going to have a banger. So before you leave, please subscribe to our channel. Turn on those notifications. Please smash the like button if you've liked our content. Go enjoy the NFL Draft. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, 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 you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.